Hi, my name is Andre. I'm Comrades Green number 54978. And this morning we had our annual club Comrades Sendoff breakfast. I'm part of the Richards Bay Athletics Club. And at this function we were honored to have Blanche Moila as a guest speaker. And with her permission, I recorded and now making it available her motivational speech that she gave. If you don't know Blanche, during Blanche's competitive career in athletics, she was known as Queen of the Road. She obtained her national colours in athletics in 1984 and was very competitive on the short, medium and long distance running, both on the track, on the road and on cross country. Cross country, her favourite events. So enjoy how she tells us about the charities she supports, her life as an athlete, and some comrades' wisdom. Enjoy.
Hi, it is a very good morning indeed. Thank you, Stacey, for the kind words. Ja, en ons het lekker gedrag vanochtend. Lekker gesels. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for those who came out running. Sangonani, Dumelang, Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Mulween, Goeiemorgen. Shalom, my friends. Well, it is a privilege for me to be invited to Richards Bay by the oldest running club in Richards Bay. It's an honor, a great honor indeed. Comrades Marathon is a big deal for me. It's not just a race. It's an experience. It's a journey. And it also afforded me the platform to be able to support charities that are close to my heart. Way back it was Starfish, who look after orphans. And then later on I embraced HAT, which is it's an acronym for Hair Press Aid Center Trust. HAT does tireless work to give comfort and hope to families that are impacted by HIV/AIDS. We know that it's still prevalent, and sadly, KZN has according to stats, the highest prevalence in South Africa of HIV/AIDS. And HACT is like an oasis in the greater Durban area. So I really strive to assist, and I'm one of their investors trying to raise funds for them. Their ethos is healthy lifestyle and aging gracefully, aging actively. And they host Gogo Games, just incidentally. Gogo Games are for the 50 and over that they host in the Valley of the Thousand Hills in Hillcrest area, and they're exciting. I mean, I've attended some of those, and you're going to see those Gogos participating in all sorts of sports, soccer and basketball and just running. And they don't have the ideal running gear, you know, they'll all be in their dresses and so forth, and, but having fun. And of course, they are competitive. You've got to hear at that age. But that's what Hillcrest does to empower the Gorgos. Yeah, just a bit of background to my journey. I didn't choose running. I truly believe running chose me. But I'll always say, what I did do though, and this is said tongue-in-cheek, I chose my parents wisely. The genetic pool for athletics was very strong. Both my parents were absolutely keen on running and lawn tennis. Yet I only started running in 1980, and that was per chance. Bear in mind that the school that I attended, they didn't encourage the girl child to excel in sport, because some communities, some cultures still had myths about women in sport. They felt that the women will be muscle bound, will not be able to conceive. That was a big thing in our communities. And that would detract from your femininity. But obviously those myths are disproved now, and there's lots more participation in sport in all communities. So it was only post-grad, didn't do anything at school, but post-grad, I got into running. And this was during my psychiatric block. After nursing college, I went to do psychiatry, and it was during my psychiatric block that the institution had a sports day for patients and personnel, the staff. And we were all encouraged to participate, staff and patients. I ran a 400 meter without training, because I hadn't done anything prior to that. I won it, not because I was any good, but I think the other nurses and personnel were just so unfit. And that's how I won it. Dr. Shorty Moila, who had run a couple of Comrades before, was the psychiatric intern, I think. And he saw me running. He was impressed with my running style. He said I had an economic running style. At the time, I didn't know what he was talking about. He invited me to run with him a couple of times and just see, because he wanted to introduce me to competitive running. I took up the challenge. The next day, well, not even proper running shoes, I think like those batons or something, they called them way back, ordinary shoes. I did a 7 kilometer with him. I felt okay during the run, you know, I was a breathless, it was within my capability. But the next day, my muscles spoke to me. There was lots of discomfort. I couldn't bend, I couldn't tie my shoes for work. I literally wore almost like slip-ons, and then we were supposed to have lace-up shoes. But I apologized, and I wore slip-ons to work. And I said to Dr. Shotty, this is not what I signed up for. I don't think it's for me. But with lots of encouragement and with lots of stretching, I slowly got into the running again. It was at least 3 days a week. And yes, I started enjoying it. And 6 months down the line, he enrolled me in my first race. Sure, 21 kilometers. Now, normally you start track, cross country, road. I did it the other way around. I started with 21K, I went to cross country, and then I did track. Yeah, so I did the 21 relatively comfortably. I did it in close to 2 hours, I think. I was the third lady. Now, here comes a bit of a story. The powers around there didn't believe that I had completed the whole distance. Nobody had ever seen me before, they didn't know who I am. Nobody from my community had ever been on the roads. So there was a big question mark as whether I cheated. And I can understand where it comes from. It was a 2-lapper in Marisburg. I don't know if you remember. It was a night race, 2 lappers. So yes, I could have sat around somewhere. And then in the next lap, but obviously I didn't do that. I ran nutritionally. But my parents always instilled in us. When you're given lemons, make lemonade and just brush off, take it to your stride and so forth. So I just ignored that, and I knew that it wouldn't be long where I would disprove that. So, and fortunately, 2 months later, there was the Bonnie Bell ladies race in Durban. Now, Bonnie Bell was the first company that sponsored a women's only race in South Africa, called it Bonnibel. Now it's Spa.
Okay.
It was from Bonnibel, then Cleves took over, and then later on Spa. So we did the Bonnibel, 10-kilometer Kings Park. Broad daylight, fortunately. My first 10K, and I finished third. So people start saying, okay, she's legit. And more so, my time was 39 minutes in my first 10K.
Wow.
Yep.
And that's behind, I think, Sophie Tilburg and Super Onslet. And me. Yeah. 2 months later, went to Cape Town, ran with Zola, Diane Massey. Once again, I was third, but what was impressive? 35 minutes.
Wow.
This time. So I was improving. Yeah, in broad daylight. And I guess that's when, the press took over, where's this gold from, and so forth. And so basically that's where it all started. And as time went on, I was able to bring most of my times down. My 10K eventually came down to 33 minutes, 58 seconds. My half marathon, 1 hour, 14 minutes, 50 something seconds, just under 115, so it's about, just under 75. My 15K, I always think that was my best time, 51 minutes, 34 for 15 kilometers.
Wow.
But some hills, a lot quicker. Ilana ran a 49, I think, and I ran a 51.
Sure.
Now, with all that, I still had difficulty or challenges in gaining a sponsor. You've got to look at the social structure of the time. I didn't fit the profile. And the first shoe company, my mentor, Dr. Moila, approached, kept pushing the requirements higher and higher. In first, it was, I've got to run a half marathon in 1 hour 20. I did that. And then it was, we wanted to bring it down. It just kept going. And then we realized it had more to do with my profile than anything else. But fortunately, Nike came on board, 1984. And they've been phenomenal. They said, Blanche, we love you just as you are, And so I'm still very loyal to Nike. Those are just some hiccups of the time. But generally, I enjoyed my journey. There was just one incident, by the way, in cross country, and that's my first love. Running we used to have interprovincial chats. So we had Gauteng and Bloom and everybody in Durban. And there were some negative remarks while I was running, from some tannies from the Free State at the time, and all I could hear is, Moenie maak ek moenie voor die missies hardloop nie. And I understood what but I did not comply. That's when I really, really ran hard, and and it was nice to be ahead on home soil, But those are just little incidences, I've never been bitter, and I'm still not bitter about those. It was a few and far between. I think generally I was well received by all communities. So Comrades Marathon. Before Comrades Marathon, I did a marathon, a standard marathon trials. We were going for the Olympics, so we had a trial. Unfortunately, I didn't qualify, but I finished third in 2 hours 41 minutes in my marathon. Colleen Deruk was 2:31 and Sonia 2:40. So we were the top 3 marathoners at the time. But I got to represent South Africa in the marathon at the World Championships, though I didn't go to the Olympics. And and I've represented South Africa in other distances at cross country, at relays, and so forth. And so I've had a satisfying satisfactory journey. And Comrades 2000 is when, that was my debut. And I got into Comrades basically because of the euphoria about the year 2000. Oh, you've got to do something special in the year 2000. I thought, okay, Comrades Marathon. And I did that, and my first Comrades was 7:39. Now, at the time, I didn't even realize, I didn't know about silver, I didn't know anything about Comrades. So I was just running to be part of the crowd. And I ran at 2:39. So I think that's 4 years later when I actually ran a silver. And yeah, a couple of bull rowings later, that now I'm comfortable with, is it Vic Clapham? Is that the last one? I'm very comfortable there. Because, you know, and I always say that I complete my Comrades with lots of satisfaction now, because I'm using it as a platform to raise funds for a charity. And you know, when I accomplish that, that brings so much satisfaction. And I encourage other runners, you know, Danielle later on, think about adopting a charity. Comrades has several. There are lots that you can support. And when you have that with you, you know, that keeps you going. You know, I've got to complete this, you know, because I'm committed to a particular charity. Yeah, and my favorite section of Comrades, actually, when it's down or up, is in Changa. And solely because there you meet a lot of school kids from the Entebeni School for the Handicapped. Now, these children they have challenges coming to the road anyway. Some of them come in crutches, some come in wheelchairs, but they're so cheerful, they're so happy, and all they want is those high fives. And you know, and that gives me goosebumps whenever I run that, past that. It energizes me too. So I encourage you, when you get to that point, just observe the enthusiasm, embrace it. Later on in your race, when you do go through some bad patch, as most people do, even at elite runners, they go towards some hiccups. Reflect on those kids, that they've given up so much. They have so many challenges coming to the road to encourage us that admiring, or should I say, I wouldn't say envious, that they just appreciate that we are able to walk or run the distance they can't. Think of that, think of what they've, you know, the enthusiasm, and let that push you, keep going. No, Africa is really a whole of distance running. We know that, you know, most records are, well, the Springbok Marathon is held by Africa. So there's no excuse for anyone not running Comrades Marathon. I know.
I've got a good one. I have a very good one. I can't qualify.
And there's no reason why anyone can qualify. What's the qualifying time? 5 hours.
Yeah, some of us are here for a long time, not a quick time. I want to get my money's worth.
I love that. That's why they have 12 hours for Comrades. So you pay what, 1,000 plus? And you need your money. You want your money's worth. Yeah. So Daniel, I'm so excited that you'll be running Comrades. And as Andre mentioned, you know, the start, there's always this enthusiasm from the other runners. Sometimes the novices are overwhelmed by this excitement. And I suggest that you start visualizing that. Talk to yourself from now on that there will be this rowdy, noisy people around you, all excitement, and that did not affect you. Start slowly, as Andre attested to, And then you slowly build up. You've got to be very, very conservative in your first half. And there were many marathons that I read negative splits because I'm very, very conservative. And it's always a delight for me to run negative splits. It's always good to finish strongly, you know. And that you can only accomplish if you're conservative in the first stretch. In Comrades, you're not competing against anyone. It's about yourself. It's about reaching the finish line. What should, you know, I always say there's so much room at the finish for all of us. So you will get there and there'll be enough room. There's no elbowing and so forth, yeah. So, yeah. You know, at kindergarten, we were taught about the tortoise and the hare and the tortoise type of thing. Remember that as you go, you know. Don't be the hare at the start, you know. Be the tortoise and you will reach your goal. Yeah, you know, as I say, on the road, as in life, you will learn to handle both positives and the challenges. So success on the day is finding a balance between your emotions and your logic. The emotion is the dream of running smoothly and crossing that finish line. Running smoothly, consistently, and crossing that finish line. And the logic could be that you know you have done the work that and you've practiced regularly, the work enough to get you to the finish. So you need a balance to take in that. Control is important. Be sensible, as mentioned. Don't be the hare at the beginning, and don't compete against anyone else. Yeah. So basically, that's my message to most runners. One of the beautiful things about Comrades is, we've mentioned it, age has no penalties. The runner lives in an eternal present. We never outgrow the need for play. And look at Comrades as a field for play. Don't see it as, oh, it's all hardship. There is a lot of play. Take in the camaraderie. There's lots of singing that goes on in some of these buses, you know. I enjoy that. Along the roadside, there'll be music. I know one lyric that goes through my mind a lot is, maybe for the older generation they'll know it, Country Road. Just country road, take me home to the ways I belong. That goes there. And I do sing it. softly to myself. It takes me home. That goes. Have a mantra, a positive mantra. I can do this. I've done my homework. I can do this. That's what gets us to the finish. Comrades is doable. Yeah. And as mentioned, supporting a charity helps it too. And I'm motivated too. I still mentor the youth about positiveness, positive mindset, and that keeps me going. That's why I'm still running now. I'm not that competitive now. I run because I want to show people the longevity of healthy lifestyle. Yeah, taking care of your body, eating healthy. If you can, stay away from meat. That doesn't tongue in cheek. I'm vegetarian, but meat is fine. I know for many years people marveled, even when I was at my peak, that I could run relatively okay, and I was vegetarian. Because they felt that you need meat for the energy. That's not true, you know, you don't need it. The legumes have lots of protein. I had lots of nuts that I have, you know, daily. I had goji berries and so forth. So that's what my source of energy. Yeah. So be the best you can be for this sort of running. Well, not just Comrades, but Masego, even in cross country. Just be the best you can be. And you'll see that you gradually improve your times, improve your position, and just enjoy it. Yeah. As the Afrikaans says, fast pace, and you will get to the finish. I love it. You know, the fast pace. You know, when I hear it on the road, it really does get me going. So, thank you very much, and thanks again for having me here. Rea leboga. Ja, baie dankie.